How did objectives enter the business area itself? Well, most of you know management by objectives. Like Peter Drucker was introduced, I think, in the beginning of the 1950s, and was very, very soon changed to propagated in the business environment, and most of the people, including me, remembered from this that objectives need to be bound, need to be supported by monetary incentives. This is made in order to trigger the work, to trigger the people to strive to reach for the objectives. The question that came in from the psychological side about 20 years later, when they started investigating what drives people, is it really good to have a monetary incentivation to reach things? And the answer, most of you hopefully know that it is not. Actually, extrinsic motivation, like monetary motivations, monetary incentives, are killing our intrinsic motivation. And this is what we actually want. And if you look deeper, this is not what Peter Drucker actually wanted to tell us. What did he start with? Actually, the question for him was, what is the meaning of a company? Create profit? No. It's maximize profit? No. The answer is not only false, it's irrelevant, because what we want to achieve with a company, with our business, is to create customers. And profit is only a test if what we're doing is valid and how well we are doing. That's it. So very shortly, regarding objectives and key results, objectives are broad goals for the company, which are telling what we want to achieve. So, for example, a great customer experience. And the key results are the measurements that we can take and see how can we achieve this? How far are we on the way? How fast are we moving in the direction of the objectives? So here, key results for creating a great customer experience would be that measuring the recommendation rate and improving it, or increasing the feedback rate, or really asking for a customer satisfaction and move this from a certain level to a higher level. Now, what needs to be understood is that it is not the goal of objectives and key results to 100% reach the objective, because let me go through the measurements first. 100% reaching of an objective means this is extremely ambitious, should be nearly impossible to achieve, and should not happen regularly. If we reach 70% roundabout, this is what we hope to achieve if we are really concentrating on it, if we're putting a lot of work into it, but it should be doable. 30% is pretty sure result if we're continuing doing the way we're doing it right now. and 0% means no progress. All achievements here in the key results are good because even 0% gives us an information that the objective might not be the one we decided or had to go after throughout the interval for which we fixed our objectives. Why is it this way? Well, it is not bound, not connected to any monetary incentives. So there is nothing bad in putting up high objectives for which you need to stretch to reach the to achieve the objective. And because it's not connected to any monetary incentive, you're freeing the people's mind from, oh, I have to follow up on this no matter how meaningful this objective is or not anymore. And this is why 0% progress is an important information for us. Because when I started in my current company, I had to follow up a frame contract with a big car manufacturer here in Germany. And 3 months after my start of the journey, the Dieselgate kicked in. So what would have happened if I would have been bound, if I would have vowed to achieve this frame contract, because nothing happened for more than a year then? I would have tried to follow up on this instead of following up on important things like getting our employees into projects which are not under this frame contract. So that's the reason why you're putting the measurements for the key result in this area. So, okay, let's start about the travelogue, which you were promised in this talk. What are we? We're an IT support or IT company, and our mission you can see on the very right, and important for objectives and key results is mission and vision, because they're like North Star, like guidelines, which help us to see in which direction our projects should be taken. We have in the area where we're working 8 chapters with 100 something employees, and the on-site academy, which Laura is leading, is heading. This is one small team with only 5 direct employees, and they're using OKRs. They're happy to get the support from roughly 20 trainers from other departments, and I'm one of those 20 trainers, and I'm allowed to support here once in a while, mainly with Agile leadership and management 3.0 trainings. So the company objectives that we derived from our mission are that we want to extend our direct customer base. As a subsidiary of T-Systems International, we have some direct customers, but also we have several customers through our mother company, and also we are supporting Deutsche Telekom, which T-Systems is a subsidiary of. We want to improve ourselves as an employer because we want to draw the best heads, the best knowledgeable people outside the region, from Germany to our companies, and want to have work culture which is characterized by personal responsibilities and flat hierarchies. I know that flat hierarchy is a buzzword which is used very often throughout agile companies, throughout agility, and it's a little bit burned like the word agile itself, but we really want to live it. We know that we have different structures, communication structures, work structures, or hierarchies within a company, and we're aware of this, and we know that they are there, and sometimes they are important. And we would like to provide inspiring work to our customers, and wherever we are, which helped us actually, that when the pandemic kicked off, we were very well prepared. We were very fast inside the home offices and were able to work. Now, taking a look at the objectives and key results and how we brought it in, let me follow two paths here. One, the region north, where Laura and me are executives, and one path which went a little bit parallel for the on-site academy itself. So what happened? In the end of 2016, some colleagues of mine and me had a Management 3.0 facilitator workshop, and we started reading things here and there regarding leadership and objectives, and the question arose, if we want to have responsible people who are committed to what they're doing now, when we hand over too much responsibility to the teams, what will happen? And our head of area came up with the OKR and somehow infected us a bit with it. So we started kind of grassroots work regarding objectives and key results, just first in our small leadership team. We are a team of 6-7 people, and we experimented with it. Now, this was some kind of successful. We, in parallel, created Management 3.0 workshops and spread it throughout the company. And in the 2018 management retreat, we presented our experiment. We showed what we're doing, and we were pretty successful because at that time, many of the other departments were a bit still struck by the Dieselgate and the slew down of the requests that came in from the automobile industry. And somehow we infected our managing director, and he followed up on this throughout 2018 and asked Laura and our head of the region to lead the management retreat in 2019 and create OKRs for our company. And Laura in parallel did the same with her team. Laura created an OKR workshop in her team, and they defined 3 objectives, key results. They even named an OKR master, and later on embedded OKRs into their meeting culture. And we're even providing OKR workshops to our customers in the automotive industry, but for our company overall company, somehow it didn't work. It collided with reality. So that's why I meant we experimented. The experiment was very successful when we were a small group of 6-7 people, but when we tried to convey it throughout our company, we somehow failed a bit. And let me show you what we came up in 2018. Before we had the company OKRs in our region. We wanted to develop business with customer X. Not really inspiring. Huh? What for should we develop business for customer X, a non-named customer? We really didn't have a name there. We just said we want to develop a business with an unknown customer. We wanted to sell an agile team and have an RFP frame contract and for regarding this new offer and so on. So we did not really have measurable, quantifiable criteria in order to really tick off the key results or say, no, we didn't do anything there. Second objectives, sounds great, improve employee satisfaction in our region. Again, what for? We really had those questions also within our management team, because not all of us were really convinced of objectives and key results. Yeah, we wanted to have feedback from the employees, grouped by the departments, and we wanted to count the replies to the feedback requests, but this is nothing measurable. We just said we want to do it. It were action items. It was not key results that we wrote down here. And the third one, we want to be known and develop or hone our existing portfolio. So actually we have here 2 objectives in one. We want to make the T-Systems on-site known to whom, and we want to work on our portfolio, and we wanted to measure again by count of feedbacks of audience, like we had in the objectives too. There is not really, this is not even measuring something regarding the objectives. We had 2 dependencies between key results. We wanted to send in I'm sorry, I'm missing the word. I'm out of English for 6 years now, so my apologies for that. For talks like we have here, and wanted to count on how many lectures were accepted as speakers and on how many conferences. So where did we go wrong? I'm not using the F word, but you know what I mean. Actually, we did nearly no retrospectives. The OKR flow was nowhere integrated in our meeting culture in our region. You saw that Laura's team did a little bit better there. Our objectives were too high level. And what we missed is when we wanted to spread it throughout the region, that there might be different or even diametral objectives are given for the different chapters that we had, or different goals, that personal goals that the chapter heads wanted to achieve. We were not very clear regarding our key results, especially regarding employee satisfaction, or making the T-Systems on-site visible. We had too many objectives. I showed you only 3 as an example, but we actually kicked off with 5 objectives, and all 5 objectives had 4 to 5 key results. So this is a lot which we wanted to measure then. And as I already said, we had some internal opposition. It was not always clear to everyone what we wanted to achieve. So the momentum flattened, and we had too many personal OKRs without an alignment. So this really didn't work. Now, what did we improve throughout the last years? Well, we started the communication from scratch. We explained very clearly, what does it mean to lead by objectives, and how do OKRs fit in there? Because we had concerns regarding the need of objectives in business. We use less objectives, and that's what we see not only in our region, also in other companies or other groups within T-Systems, where we help teams to implement OKRs, is that many of them want to put in too many objectives, but it's important that you put in only the most important objectives, which are really the things that you want to achieve with your team, with your company, and start working with one of them. That's helpful. Have unambiguous, measurable key results, and the measurable is very, very important. Because this is what helps you to see, where am I, and am I going in the direction of the objective at all? We took over from Laura that the idea to have in our weekly meetings 15 minutes where our OKR master, our OKR champion, has time to pick one objective or even just one key result, and to discuss with the group. Do we have the same understanding? Where are we? Do we need to focus on it? Or maybe reality already collided with this objective or this key result, or we found out maybe this is not such a good measurement, such a good key result, because it doesn't tell us really, are we going in the direction, or can we measure it at all, or do we know where we came from? And leadership at eye level, we in the slide before, I talked about very shortly about the personal OKRs, and that they weren't really aligned. Now, what we started in 2019 and on is having the company's vision and mission, and from then go down throughout the region executive teams, and creating the team objectives and the personal objectives. It's not something that is a top-down approach. It continues a lot bottom-up approach, and when we are talking about it, helps you to align all those items. Now, let's have a drill down a little bit to the smaller on-site academy team, where we have only a group of 5 people talking about OKRs. So what they found out in the beginning is that their objectives didn't go well with their real life focus. They had too many different things to do, and couldn't talk and look consistently on the objectives, so they lost focus shortly after they started. There was no alignment with the other teams. As I said, we're providing IT services, mainly development services for other companies. This is our product. We do not sell any other product. The academy sells trainings, so they do have a product, even though it's intellectual property they are selling, but they have a product. And the alignment between the academy and the other teams wasn't very well, so we didn't see where we supported each other. The key results also here were very high level, and we're focusing on the output instead of the outcome. And all of this, including the tracking discipline, means when someone achieved something, they didn't write it down, so they lost focus. Now the learnings in the academy team, they adapted the method to what they needed. So it's not that they made the objectives and key results their religion, following the rules exactly. No, they adapted the objectives and key results to what they need. They have the additional events like weekly check. They have a quarterly retrospective and planning and a yearly kickoff. So they really plan at the beginning of the year, when are we going to have our events, and they're really sticking to it. They're integrating the OKRs to their meeting routine, and means, like in the region team, actually we stole from the academy this idea. They're talking about the objectives, and this is the importance, that you're looking at your guidelines, at your North Star. The midterm checks and retrospectives are very important, because there you can kill your darlings, means the objectives that you fought for, the objectives that you thought are super important for your team, can be killed because they're not important anymore, because the world took another quarter turn around the sun throughout the last 3 months. They had also someone who is looking after the objectives and is driving the team. It's not the one who is telling the team, these are your objectives. It's the one that's reminding the team and supporting them to look at it, and helps them to find the OKRs that are supporting the goals of the academy team within the company. And we have alignment with the other companies teams with the other regions. And that's very important, because the academy before had no idea what they were providing within the overall on-site family. Still, it's difficult. We're still discussing, we still fail, but we try to look back then in the retrospective and check what went wrong and go over it and have an idea, how can we do better? And then we change it and experiment, and we are writing down what we want to do, what we want to achieve, and what we expect, and how are we going to measure whether this is a failure or it's a win. Just very shortly, an example, very ambitious objectives that we want to be known as the training provider for Agile subjects. That's really a big target, a big goal. Key results. We want to count the number of paying customers per training. So we actually put for X a real number in there. And we want to have a certain number of premium packages that we're selling in the next level leadership segment. So we know our competitors there, and we want to compete with them. And we want to count our recommendation rate from the premium trainings, and take this also as references. So we're following up on those recommendations. To be honest, this is working quite well. Beginning of the year, we actually won a big frame contract for an automotive customer of us regarding Agile basic trainings. So seems like Laura's team is doing pretty well here. Now, where are we today, and where are we going from here? What the Academy is doing already is using the OKRs for optimizing their portfolio. So we have this as a guiding star, and we know we want to diversify a little bit more from our current customers. Maybe what are the new trainings that we need to create? We have one OKR master in the region North and in the Academy, and they have the support even from our managing director. They have the time they can invest to follow up on this. We have an OKR community, and OKRs in the community of practice and in our guilds. You heard chapter before, you hear guilds now, so you know we're a little bit following the formation of this streaming provider. I lost the name, my apologies for this. We're really using it because it's easy and understandable, and it's not connected to any monetary incentives. It's very helpful for us. And we're actually in talks with the Workers' Council to implement what we already experimented within the executive teams regarding personal development interviews.